What is going on, Arizona sports fan family? How are we doing out here today on this beautiful Tuesday evening? We're here to go ahead and get this roundtable started back up again. What is going on? How's everybody doing in the chat? We got Jay, we got Lennon, we got David, we got everybody, Trapley, Dominic, Benjamin. I see everybody out here. Thanks everybody for coming here again with another episode of the NFC West Roundtable. As always, I am joined by my fellow co-hosts here. We got my guy, Sheriff Joe Bags. We got my next guy, CG Ruthless Sports, and then we got my guy, Steezy. Man, it's been a while, man. MIA, how you been?
I've been good, man. Been doing all right, man. Just took a 1-week hiatus, and I guess everybody missed me.
Everybody missed you, but also Steezy. Where you been, man?
Man, I was in Hawaii, so I guess you could say I was in paradise for a little bit. But yeah, no, I missed coming on, and I hope you guys are doing well, and I can't wait to go at it again today.
Yes, gotta love it. I appreciate you guys for coming in, man. We're gonna have a very good show here today, as we always do. We're gonna talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, about what we saw on the last week from our teams, and then we're gonna talk about, we're gonna do our picks and all that stuff. So we're gonna have a very good show, as always. If you guys do want to have a comment, put a super chat on there. It definitely looks prettier that way, and it kind of catches our eye, just like Sheriff Joe says all the time. So let's get started, man. Before we start with the last week games, I think it's important to start off with CG because he wasn't there last week. I think he's got a little word to say about Sheriff Joe's matchup, Rams versus the 49ers. So, CG, the floor is yours, man. What you got to say?
All right, man. So we're on the street from the roundtable that Joe Baggs picked the Jags against my Niners, and I guess it had to do with the Monday Night Beatdown, man. I was just going to come, and then all of a sudden, some bad weather, some bad reception killed it, and I wasn't able to make it to the show. So, like Cam Newton, I'm back.
Nice. Well, I appreciate it. That was actually a lot softer than not in terms of, I thought you were going to get more of a licking, but cool, man. Awesome. I appreciate you guys for everybody coming in here, man. Let's talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and what we saw last week. Let's first start off let's start off with Rams, just because you're next to me, man. The Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, off a bye. And the only ugly thing that we've seen as we still have Raheem Morris as our defensive coordinator. That's the ugly. The good is that I think the bye came at a great time for the Rams. Gives everybody a chance to kind of reset a little bit. I think it was perfect for Matthew Stafford. Let's two new Rams, Von Miller and OBJ, get a little bit more familiar with our facilities and our playbook. So I think that that is the good, is the timing of the bye week. The bad is that friggin' Raheem Morris is still here, man. I was really hopeful. Really hopeful.
Yeah, I think there was a comment that CG said. It was either CG or John Jay. Correct me if I'm wrong, CG, but it was I think it was talking about Kyle Shanahan having Sean McVay's number. Now, do you believe that now?
Yeah, because I guess it kind of seems like Sean McVay is like Shanahan's jockey guy. So it's like anytime he knows everything, he makes him do his work for him. Like the kind of guy that goes to school and wants to get ahead of the test, and Sean McVay's the kind of guy that gives him the answers, and he just passes the test easily. That's what it seems like.
Joe, what do you got to say about that? Sheesh.
Haven't the 49ers done enough, CG? Leave me alone. But, no, I think that's a tough one, man. I think Shanahan ultimately, they had a good game plan against the Rams. They did obviously a great job. And a 21-point game is not a play happens here, play happens there kind of thing, and it's a different outcome. That's a big difference. So I would say that the real person who was owned here was not necessarily McVay. McVay got down 14 points and then kind of got desperate. That's kind of his MO. He likes to play from ahead, and if he's trailing like that, he tends to get a little bit aggressive, and just kind of go pass happy. But I think Raheem Morris is where the fingers need to be pointed at. You have pass rusher Leonard Floyd covering George Kittle on third down. Then you have the Rams' fourth best corner, in my opinion, in David Long Jr. covering Debo on third down, while Jalen Ramsey's on a rookie who has 4 catches on the season. So I don't know if I'd put that on McVay.
Yeah, but you know what happened on Monday night? We curb stomped the Rams, and I was about to say it last week, but it kind of left off my mind. But damn, Joe Baggs, you were so butthurt last week. You picked the Jags out of everybody else. I would have I actually would have picked the Jags as a trap game, but you know what? We curb stomped them too, and now we're gonna curb stomp whoever. Maybe we might curb stomp Minnesota. Maybe I'm out of my mind.
God.
Maybe I'm on the juice too much, man. I'm on that train, dude. But we curb stomp your Rams. We might do it again.
I have a new reason for wanting the 49ers to lose, and that's so he relaxes again.
Well, just to add salt to injury, man. Woof. All right. Well, let's move on to the next tier. I think Joe needs to get a couple, a little ointment over there.
I just want to see this energy when wild card week happens and 49ers are watching the Rams and Cardinals on TV.
Oh, snap. All right, let's move on here. Let's go ahead and talk Arizona Cardinals versus the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I'm going to start off first because obviously I got the positives. And then we're going to let my guy Steezy talk about, his positives and his being at the bottom of the division. And the chat isn't being very nice right now to Steezy. Just FYI, don't read the chat, my guy. So Arizona Cardinals came in with Colt McCoy. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous. We got beat down by the Panthers, but I do think it came down to the Panthers started off hot. This was their playoff game. They had Cam Newton. And then when we came in the Seahawks, we heard that K1 wasn't going to be playing again. And I was like, oh, geez, here we go again. Colt McCoy, hopefully we see the type of Colt McCoy that we saw against the San Francisco 49ers. And that's what we did see, and then some. Oh, my God, Siri. So that's what we did see, and then some, because Colt McCoy did it all, man. He had an amazing game, over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and maybe an interception. I don't know if some Seahawks might have said that was an interception or not, but the Arizona Cardinals came to play. They know they got their butt whipped by the Carolina Panthers, and honestly, it was a good rebound game for the Arizona Cardinals. I still do not think Russell Wilson is 100%, regardless of him saying that he is. And that he doesn't need any more time to, take the rust off. But I think there's something off there a little bit. But obviously, I'm happy. We're 9-2. Exciting times for the Arizona Cardinals. Tell us your good, bad, and the ugly, Steezy.
For good, I don't really know if I have any good right now. I think that, I guess, as the weeks continue to progress, maybe the more Russell Wilson gets comfortable, maybe the more, I guess, better his finger is as the weeks progress. But right now, there's just a whole lot of bad. I think the bigger question at this point is this the end of an era in Seattle? There's just been so many issues that have been plaguing this team. Trey Brown are arguably our best corner. I know DJ Reed probably has a little something to say about that, but ever since Trey Brown was inserted into the lineup a couple of weeks ago, he's been one of the keys to Seattle's pass defense, at least being competent and being a lot better than they were in the first couple of weeks. And now he's out for the remainder of the season. DJ Reed, we don't know when he's coming back. And so I don't know if our defense is going to be able to keep up that level of play that they sustained for a couple of weeks during the middle stretch of the season. The offensive line, just Dwayne Brown is having, I think, his worst season in the Seahawks uniform. Like, he's up and down. Obviously, Russell Wilson and the Seahawks offense have 1 touchdown in the last 19 possessions. That's awful. And then we have guys, Tyler Lockett's talking about on film, they're watching one thing, and then in games they're seeing another thing. And, I think that's just another indictment on the coaching staff. I mean, I've been on that train since the beginning of this year. I think Pete needs to go. And this recent showing against the Cardinals is, I think, if that game doesn't show that we need a new guy to lead this Seahawks team moving forward, then I don't know what is. I mean, we had all the ingredients to potentially upset you guys at home. Like you said, Colt McCoy came in. He didn't know he was going to start up until I think it was an hour or two before kickoff. And then you would think that without DeAndre Hopkins, Chase Edmonds, J.J. Watt, that the Seahawks, with the season on the line, with them being as desperate as they are, with them being at home, you would think that they'd come out, with everything swinging. But the complete opposite, ended up happening. We were 2 for 10 on third down, time of possession. You guys more than doubled ours. You guys were at like plus 40 minutes. We were at 19. So it's just been, I don't know. It's been it's been real tough over here in Seattle. I'm just hoping that Seattle is able to put together a nice stretch of winning football games down the stretch, just because if we're just to completely falter, I don't think that bodes well for Russell Wilson remaining in Seattle, just because I'm of the mindset that Russell Wilson, I think, will stay in Seattle, will give Seattle one more chance if Pete Carroll isn't there. But now if the team is unable to fight or show any sort of resilience in them in these next 6 to 7 games, then maybe he doesn't even consider Seattle as a team that he'll, stick around with, even if there isn't Pete Carroll. So, yeah, it's been terrible. Right now, we'd have the 5th overall pick, but the Jets have it. So
it's crazy, man. Honestly, I don't think obviously you guys have been a great team since 2013, 2014, and it's crazy to see what has happened and what's transpired to the Seattle Seahawks team. And you can see the frustration in Pete Carroll, especially didn't he walk away in the press conference? Like he was just saying he was like he wasn't happy about giving them the same answers, which I don't think he's used to, getting so much criticism back and forth. And it really kind of tells what type of culture is going on in that locker room, man. I know we talked about this earlier. You said Pete Carroll, first one to leave over Russ, right? Because I'm seeing some crazy people in social media, and I know social media is absolutely crazy, but everybody's talking about trading Russ, man. How do you feel about that?
If he truly doesn't want out, if there's truly no scenario in which he'll stick around for at least another year, then yeah, trade Russ. I mean, we could use the picks. Like I said, we don't have a first-round pick this year. At least our second-round pick, I find a little bit of solace in the fact that our second-round pick will be pretty much a late first-rounder. And so at least we have our second-round pick. But until Russell Wilson absolutely demands it, until he demands that ultimatum or says that, look, I'm not staying in Seattle no matter what happens, no matter who the coach is, no matter who you bring in, I'm not staying in Seattle, I'm gone, then yes, trade him. But unless that happens, don't trade him. I mean, we always talk about how franchise quarterbacks don't grow on trees. And Russell Wilson, he's just been one of the best quarterbacks in football ever since he was drafted. And so you just don't let go of that. I mean, you try to work it out up until you can't anymore. So yeah. I'm going to stand by that.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I hear the sadness in your voice. Trust me, I've been there, man. I'm a Cardinals fan. I know what you're talking about. Let me give a big shout out here to my guy Cam with a 99-cent donation. There's no message up here, but I did see some comments he did post up here earlier. So I'm going to respect his super chat. He says, 49ers buns, Rams buns. So appreciate the super chat, my guy. Thank you so very much. Man, a few words, but you got to love it, man. Got to love it. Awesome. Well, let's get started here, man. Let's go ahead and get our pickups, and let's see what happens in this coming week. Obviously, we got some good games coming our way. The Arizona Cardinals doesn't. We are on our bye week, and I'm so glad we feasted on Seattle because, hey, got our bye week. We can go ahead and think about Chicago right after, but let's get started on this next matchup. We got probably one of the most exciting matchups, in my opinion, Rams versus the Green Bay Packers. Now, I've been asking my fan base right now because, we're on a bye week right now, but we're like, who do you want to win? A lot of people are saying Rams. A lot of people are saying Green Bay Packers, but let me know how you think this game's going to shake up, Joe.
That's really interesting perspective that I hadn't really considered is who the Arizona Cardinals would want to win this game. I hope that you guys can find some kind of comfort in knowing that it doesn't matter who you want to win the game, that will not impact the actual outcome of the game. So you don't have to choose one. You don't have to be like, I'm a Rams fan this week. It's fine. You can just watch the game. Anyway, to get into the actual game, though, there's a lot of big storylines in this one. I mean, if you want to just dig down the levels of the matchup of this one, I mean, LaFleur, Packers head coach, used to be with the Rams offensive coordinator. So it's LaFleur versus McVay. Joe Barry, the Packers defensive coordinator, was the Rams defensive. He was the linebacker coach for the Rams for the last few years. And then you've also got Matthew Stafford, who definitely knows what Lambeau is like. He's played there at least once a year for a while. And also you got those Green Bay Packers players who definitely know Stafford pretty well. So there's a lot of different moving pieces as far as the matchup goes. And I'm not sure where that falls as far as who would have that advantage. You can look at the most recent game between these two. That was in the playoffs just last year. That was with 70% Jared Goff and Aaron Donald, who also had a rib injury. And that was a pretty competitive game from the Rams. I think that if you do get a healthy Rams team in that game, maybe it ends different. Maybe it doesn't. It was like a 14-point game, so maybe not. But and then previously to that was the 2018 season. So not necessarily relevant to this matchup, I would say. But There's a lot of different factors going into this one. I think a big part of it, an underrated factor in this one, will be even though that the Rams defensive coordinator cannot put together a game plan. I think we talked about it here when the Rams played the Arizona Cardinals. It was like, what was even the goal? Like, what were we trying to do there? And just didn't make any sense to me. And then now you go into this game where you play against Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, a very strong Green Bay Packers team, maybe without Aaron Jones, doesn't really matter because Dylan is killing it as well. So either way, you got a strong run game from the Green Bay Packers. But the Packers also have three starting offensive linemen who are out in this one. Bakhtiari is not back in this one. They're going to wait until after the bye week. They just lost Elton Jenkins for the season with torn ACL. So, if somebody like Raheem Morris is not going to bring the pressure, well, there's Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, and now Aaron Donald who can, I think, kind of get around that offensive line just a little bit. And also, we learned today on the Pat McAfee show that Aaron Rodgers is dealing with a broken pinky toe. So I don't know how much he'll be able to get away. And with three offensive linemen starters out, I think that that's a factor. And so even with the Rams not bringing as much pressure as they have been used to, I think that we'll be able to get to Aaron Rodgers. And then at that point, who knows what can happen? Hopefully we see a lot of Jalen Ramsey versus Devontae Adams. That's what sells tickets is Jalen Ramsey versus Devontae Adams. So I hope I see that. On the other side of the football, I like the Rams' ability to move the football and actually have a more calm down Matthew Stafford than we saw in the last two games against the Titans and the 49ers. But also, we got to see it. You know what I mean? Like, we got to see that happen. And then McVay, obviously, he's basically blown off the run game entirely. So I'd like to see that come back as well. And this is also the first time that we'll see Odell with the Rams where he actually kind of knows our offense. He had 3 practices before that game going against the 49ers, and he had 2 catches, was able to kind of do some things. I know if you guys watched the game, we put him in the backfield, slung him on a little swing route, and that opened up Cooper Kupp deep. So hoping that we can see some other things like that and maybe some other creative ways that we can get OBJ involved in this Rams offense. But I think that Robert Woods is a big loss. Hopefully it doesn't factor in too much, but I do think that's a pretty big one. Overall, I like the Rams' ability to win this game. I like the Rams' ability to bounce back in this one. Sean McVay's only lost 3 straight one time, and that was in his worst season as the Rams head coach, which would have been that 2019 season, his only year that he did not make the postseason. So I like the Rams' ability to win this game. I think there's going to be some points scored, though. I've been going with 37-34. I think that we see a little bit of a shootout in this one, but I think the Rams can get the win.
37-34. All right, perfect. All right, well, let's get to the super chat here. We got my guy Corey Davis coming in clutch with the super chat. He says 49ers own the Rams, and Green Bay is going to beat the Rams 28-24.
It's a good game. And, first of all, I want to let it be known, this is the Packers are a good team. If the Rams lose this game, that does not, to me, say that the Rams are done for the season or anything like that. That's a good team.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you as well. I mean, I know I asked you last time, how comfortable would you be, or not comfortable, but how, sad would you be with 3 straight losses? And I know you said it pretty well. I mean, there's still a lot of football left, especially for the people that already had their bye week, because we have 6 games left. So it means you guys have 7 games left before the season is over. So it's still a long stretch, but obviously I definitely want to get into the 49ers and maybe their possibility of maybe catching up to you guys. And we'll talk about that a little later on, but I got another super chat here real quick before we start doing our pick'ems on this Rams and Packers game. Got my guy Dominic saying Kupp still leads the league in yards and Stafford leads in QBR. Hate it if you want. Share if you're awesome. CG, enjoy watching a Niner-less playoffs. Woo, man, shots fired already. Sheesh. I'll let you. Okay, actually, CG, what do you got to say about this?
Well, you don't even know if we're going to make the playoffs. It's pretty much anything possibility. You know how it is when you're on a winning streak, it's hard to stop a hot team. So no disrespect intended, but I think Deebo Samuel is a better all-around receiver than Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is a natural receiver. If you need to go for those catches and those route plays, that's Cooper Kupp. But if you need a guy who can catch the ball and run the ball, it's Deebo Samuel. So it kind of may sound biased a little here and there, but I think Deebo Samuel is the better all-around receiver overall. And I'm pretty sure Steezy would agree on that part.
Would you, Steezy?
That's tough. I think obviously athletically, I think in terms of his ceiling, I think in terms of his upside, he has the potential to be better than Cooper Kupp. But I just think with the way that Cooper Kupp, his route running, I mean, he makes cornerbacks look silly, on a regular basis. I think his yards after the catch ability. I think his ability to run block. I think, his leadership. I think this year he has a triple crown in most of the receiving categories. I can't go that far yet. Debo, he's having a career year. Yes, he's versatile and that he can run out of the backfield, but he just can't stay healthy, and availability is the best ability.
Well, he's been healthy all season. He's been healthy all season, but as far as him running the ball, he's been getting the carries lately, man. He's been a beast.
I got him on my fantasy team.
Debo, but he's only got 22 more yards after catch than Cooper Kupp this year. So to say that he's like way better after the catch, I think that's an irrelevant comment. Okay. And Cooper Kupp still is leading the NFL in yards.
Dang.
Debo,
I also got Edwin Gonzalez says Sheriff is the best, and 49ers aren't making the playoffs. All right, cool. Let's do our pickups real quick. Appreciate all the people who super chatted so far. Let me start off with Rams and Green Bay, and then we'll go to CG, and then we'll go to Steezy. So this game, I think, is going to be very exciting. Probably one of the best games over the weekend. I'm really excited to watch this game. I'm going to have to give the up over to the it sucks for me to say it, but I'm going to say the Rams because they did lose 2. I don't think they're going to lose 3 in a row. So I'm going to give it to the Rams. And it only obviously helps us out as the Cardinals because they're following us right there.
Until we get first.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys will get a win. I think it'll be a very, very good game. I'm going to say 35-32 Rams. All right, CG, what you got?
Is it at Lambeau Field or is it at LA?
Lambeau.
Oh, man, the Rams are going to lose. Sorry, man. It's tough to win at Lambeau, and especially Rodgers after a loss, he bounces back. So I hate the Green Bay Packers as much, but I feel like when they lose a game, the following week they bounce back. Rodgers plays his best football. So I do got the Packers winning 35-28. Unfortunately, I just see the Packers more motivated. So,
all right, perfect. All right, I'm going to go to my guy Steezy here, but this is kind of a segue to you. He says, breaking news, Colt McCoy is named the new owner of the Seahawks. Okay. You don't have to comment on this, but go ahead and let us know your pick.
Colt McCoy's record against the Hawks is, I think 2-1 or 3-0. So, I'll let that slide. But Packers and Rams, this is going to be a great matchup. Joe kind of touched on everything, as did CG. If Aaron Rodgers wasn't injured, I think I'd lean in the Packers, but man, I just can't see the Rams losing 3 in a row. I know it's Lambeau. I know it's a tough place to play, but I think the Packers are more motivated to just get to their bye week. I'm not saying they're going to overlook the Rams, but Aaron Rodgers, I mean, Joe, like you mentioned, he aggravated his toe injury last week against the Vikings. And so with the bye coming up, I don't even know. Maybe there's a chance he doesn't play, or he'll be limited. That much is a fact. Actually, no, don't listen to me. He's definitely going to play, but he's definitely not going to be 100%. And so with the Rams, just touching on your point about OBJ and Robert Woods, is OBJ even a better receiver than Robert Woods at this stage in his career? I mean, yeah. And so I'm also of that mindset. And I'm not saying that because, OBJ is a downgrade that your guys' offense is getting credit. No, it's not. I just think that Robert Woods' absence, it hurts a lot. I mean, his leadership, he was one of the captains, his run blocking ability, his yards after the catch, he was growing chemistry with Matthew Stafford. I mean, he's been there for a while. He knows the system, obviously. And so I just think that his loss is, you guys are definitely going to feel it. You guys already have. But that being said, I think OBJ with a week to prepare, I definitely think he'll play a lot better. I just hope that Stafford – actually, I don't mind if he does just because it is the Rams. But Stafford, I mean, hopefully he doesn't try to just force the ball to OBJ. I mean, we saw in that first pick against San Fran, he just forced it. I don't know where he was going with that ball. And so I know you're trying to get OBJ involved, but I say all that to say that, yes, the Packers, they're just going through way too many injuries. Bakhtiari's not going to play. Elton Jenkins just towards ACL. We don't know if Jair's coming back. Zadarius Smith, he's still obviously not going to be back for this game. Like I said, they're just more motivated to get into their bye week. If the Packers end up winning, then I wouldn't be surprised just because, they still have some other pieces. They are a well-coached football team. They're a great football team, but I just don't see it. I think it is still going to be a high-scoring affair nevertheless, but I think the Rams win and ultimately prevail 34-31.
All right. Cool. Just to piggyback on that just a little bit is like Aaron Jones, we don't know if he's going to play or not. It's kind of that weird situation where do you play him because this is a big game or do you hold him because your next week is bye, you know what I mean? And then there's not Rashawn Berry also got banged up a little bit last week, but he looks like he'll.
Gotcha. Now, super chat here from a guy, Mark Jackson says, let's hope for a tie. That was tough for you guys, but appreciate the super chat, my guy. All right, let's move on to the next game here. Let's go Seahawks and Washington football team, man. Let us know how you think this is going to shake out, Steezy.
At this point, I don't know. I don't know.
Fair,
I mean, it's hard for me to even predict a win. I mean, with the way the Washington football team, they've been hot. They've won 2 in a row. They beat the Buccaneers. I know the Buccaneers didn't have AB or Gronk, but that's still a win against the defending reigning Super Bowl champions and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then what was it last week? I'm blanking on it, but the football who they beat? Oh,
Carolina.
The Panthers. The Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Newton's homecoming. I don't know how they won that one. Carolina's defense just kind of faltered down the stretch, but the football team, I mean, they've beaten 2 quality opponents in the Buccaneers and the Panthers. They're going to be playing at home here in prime time, Monday Night Football. I think if there's any game that we win, it has to be this one, just because there's still somewhat of a small chance of making the playoffs. I think it's like 4%, but Seattle obviously is a way more desperate team. I wouldn't mind just playing spoiler just because the Washington football team, if they were to win this one, they'd be in the NFC East race. And so I don't know. We're just so bad right now. Russell Wilson, I don't think he's 100%. I just don't really have too much faith in us going to Washington, D.C. and winning. But if we do, then I guess that'll make me happy.
Yeah, the sadness in your voice, man. Sheesh.
Yeah,
all right.
So I've abandoned hope, but
I hear you, man. So you think you would lean towards more Seattle or Washington?
Yeah, I'm gonna apply a little bit of reverse psychology here. I'm gonna say the Washington football team wins, and I think it's gonna be a low-scoring slugfest. I'm gonna say they win 21-17.
Okay. All right. Joe, what you got?
This is a tough game to pick because the Washington is such a hard team to nail down right now, if they're any good or not. It seems like every single week you don't really know what you're going to get out of them. Mm-hmm. But that's also the case with Seattle. So this is a very difficult game to pick. Russ has not scored a touchdown since he played against the Rams on Thursday Night Football. That was the second quarter touchdown pass, I believe, to Metcalf, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been a little bit. Of course, he was injured and stuff like that, but he has not scored a touchdown since he's returned from that injury. So he's not really cooking. I mean, unless it's like he's like Fire Festival level cook over here. But it's like, I don't know, man, because it's Russell Wilson still. I like at any moment, Russell Wilson is going to turn it on. At least historically speaking, that's kind of what it feels like. Is at any moment, Russ is going to be like, all right, I'm sick of this, and it's like, go win games, you know what I mean? So is that going to be this week? That's hard to say. I think I am going to pick the Seahawks in this one. Washington, they're a good team. I'm just not sure how good. And I think coming off that win last week, that was a pretty emotional win, especially with, Cam's return and all that stuff. I think that they tried to spoil that. I think. So I don't know. I think coming off of an emotional win like that, I think I'm going to go ahead and give it to them. And then, Seattle coming off of a division win or a division loss, I mean, those are always tough. And the Arizona Cardinals they have a strong roster. They've shown that, I think, with the absence of some of their stars that they can still get it done. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Seattle reluctantly. I'm going to go ahead, though. I'm going to give like a weird score for this one. I'm going to say it's going to be 16-9 Seattle.
All right. CG, what you got in this game, man? Washington football team versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Man, it's a tough one because, I mean, they're both kind of like a tricky team because Washington, for some reason, they are on a hot streak. They beat Tampa Bay. They beat Carolina. Seattle's kind of fallen off, and I don't know if Russell Wilson's going to start to show out at this point. Maybe this is the coming out game where he comes back to form, so I might go with this score. I'm definitely going to have the Washington football win by 3 points. It's going to be 13-16 type game. I see it more of a low-scoring game, and it might just come down to Washington's defense making a key stop on Russell Wilson or something like that. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Seattle Seahawks won. So, but I'm going Washington to play it safe. So, yeah, I got them winning by 3.
All right, perfect. He had a quick super chat here. Elon Musk gracing us with his presence here. Says Connor is a better receiver than OBJ, and he is a running back. Sheesh, man, the hatred is just everywhere today. All right, appreciate you, Elon Musk. Thanks for coming through, man. But yeah, this is a tough one, and I do agree with like everything you guys said, man. We're all expecting Russell Wilson to cook. You know, that's the thing that everybody says, let Russ cook. And right now, man, he's looking like, I'm not gonna be cheesy, but he's looking like he's cooked, man. Honestly, he's not 100%. And I'm telling you right now, they rushed him out too soon. He looks rusty. He doesn't want to admit it. Obviously, I wouldn't either if I was, a superstar. I'd be like, no, we're going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out. This is such a tough game to pick up. All I got to say is I'm most likely going to pick up Tyler Heineke for my fantasy football league because your guys' defense, the Seahawks defense, is absolutely in shambles, man. Adams is good. Adams is decent. He's decent. I just don't think that what you guys gave up for was, the smart thing to do, at least at this point into the season as of right now. But I'm going to go Washington football team as well. I think they're riding high with these wins. They're trying to go on their own playoff run. Yes, Seattle is also as well, but I think something deeper is going on in that locker room. And I think their culture is being affected really, really badly that can automatically just poison. So I'm going to go Washington football team. I do see this as a low scoring game as well. 17-13 Washington football team.
Can't believe I'm the only one that picked the Seahawks.
Yeah, you are, senor. You are.
I mean, I wanted to go there. I wanted for what that's worth.
Try to reverse psychology. But I got another super chat here from Paul. $3 $5 donation says Russ isn't 100%. Came back too soon, prologuing his recovery. His grip and release is being affected by his finger, man. How do you feel about this? I know you talked about it a little bit, but we got a little bit of new people coming through. How do you feel about Russ? Do you think he's 100%?
No, I don't think he's 100%. But I wouldn't blame Seattle. I mean, just knowing the type of guy that Russ is the one who forced himself to come back. I mean, it wasn't Seattle that cleared him. It was Russ's doctors that cleared him. And so I'm not going to blame Seattle. But Russ, I mean, he was deemed healthy enough to play. And so even if he's not 100%, he is still on the field. And so even if his finger wasn't 100%, I mean, I could see him, maybe partaking in more scrambles or maybe having the Seahawks offense implement more, zone reads or more, not zone reads. I'm talking about read options and stuff like that. Just because Rusty's not as fast as he used to be, but he's still able to, kind of get after it and run a little bit. I mean, he's still faster than most quarterbacks in football. And so there's just the offense is too predictable. I mean, and Joe kind of touched on it, but in the last 19 possessions, the Seahawks have one touchdown, and that was courtesy of DJ Dallas, not Russell Wilson.
I have a two-part question. What percentage would you put Russ at right now?
I would say he looks like he's about 75, 80, maybe 85% if I'm being.
Okay, we'll go 75.
Okay.
Or we'll just split it. We'll go 80. We'll just go in the middle of the range. Is an 80% Russ better than a 100% Geno?
That's the fact that I'm even thinking about that. I think that's not a good sign.
I think that's telling. I think it's telling that you had to you almost wanted to give an answer, but you held it.
I still gotta say Russ, but
that's what I want to say. But is it
Yeah,
I'm not very confident in saying that. But I'm just gonna say Russ just I don't know, just because of his name.
Right. But that's the thing too. I know that's a big question that's going on in Seattle right now. Why not put Geno? But imagine what type of ripple effect that will have. Then Russ will definitely want out if you replace him with Geno. You know what I mean? So definitely that's a hot water. Nobody wants that in Seattle right now. Although they want to win, they really got to think long term. And Geno isn't the answer. Let's move on to the next game here. And I think this is actually a pretty good game as well because the San Francisco 49ers are hitting a stride. I think, what are they, 5-5 right now? But they are playing the Minnesota Vikings that, in my opinion, upset the Packers this last week. And I thought that was actually a pretty good game as well. But CG, man, how do you think this game is going to shake out? 49ers versus Vikings.
Oh, I feel like this is going to be a good game. It might even come out as a shootout. But the way we've been playing lately, I feel very confident, because the fact that we made a statement on a Monday Night Football game against the Rams and then just took it to Jacksonville, if we pack that bag with us back home and take it to the Minnesota Vikings, it wouldn't surprise me. But I feel like the way the offense is clicking, they're starting to move the ball more, and they're starting to utilize more of Deebo Samuel and using him as a running back. If they do that, oh, man, this offense is going to be on a roll. We've been scoring – the last two games in the first half, we've been very effective on scoring drives, And we actually had the longest drive against the Jaguars, 13-minute drive, which hasn't happened since 2000. So it's like the drive was like 13 plus minutes. And we went to
plays.
and we just settled for a field, which is very unheard of. But I definitely got my team beating the Vikings by 3 points. So I got us winning 30-27. I do expect Minnesota to play a good game, of course, but I see Kirk Cousins throwing multiple interceptions.
All right, Joe, what you got in this game?
This is actually a pretty exciting matchup, all things considered. I mean, we thought that at different times of the season that both of these teams were kind of down and out and not going to be, worth a whole lot this season. So the fact that this game is going to be a big player as far as the wild card race this season, I think that's pretty exciting stuff, going into Week 12. So 49ers definitely on a roll right now. They are playing some really strong football. And then, you look at the Vikings. They beat the Packers last week. It's a division game, so there is a little bit of factor in that of familiarity, but these 49ers are playing some good football. He mentioned it, the 20-play drive that lasted about 13 minutes. If you guys remember that Monday night game, though, against the Rams, they had a 18-play drive that went for 93 yards, and that was right off of that interception on that pass to OBJ. So, these 49ers it's ball control right now. They are beating the crap out of people in time of possession. So I think that's such a huge factor, and it plays into exactly what Shanahan wants to do, which is perfect. If Shanahan gets to win time of possession like that, then they're a good football team. There's really nothing else to say about it. But you look at the Vikings defense, they're 29th in the NFL on defense right now, 27th against the run, and I think that the 49ers are going to be able to expose that a little bit. I don't think it's going to be super high scoring because I do think it'll be a ball control game, and the 49ers are going to kind of do that again. But I do think that Kirk Cousins, despite his 21-2 ratio right now, which is honestly insane, especially for a guy like Kirk Cousins who don't feel like is that good, you know what I mean? So he's doing a good job of controlling it as well, but I don't think he's going to have enough opportunities in this game. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one to the 49ers, but I'm going to go with a little bit of a lower score. I'm going to say 20-7 49ers win.
Wow. Okay. All right, Steezy, what you got in this game, man?
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, like Joe said, look, this is a very exciting matchup. Definitely one of the games that I had circled on my calendar. I want to lean San Fran just because, they're on a roll right now. They're running the crap out of that football. Elijah Mitchell might come back. You guys are starting running back. Deebo Samuel is being used creatively, very creatively out of the backfield, and it's paying off, massive dividends. And so I don't know. I think Minnesota, Kirk Cousins has been playing like a top 10 quarterback all year long. I know they're on the road. I know their defense hasn't been the same ever since Daniel Hunter got injured, their best pass rusher, but Justin Jefferson's on a roll. My gosh, 160-plus yards, 2 touchdowns against the Packers, 140-plus yards and a touchdown, I think, against the Chargers. And he's been one of the biggest reasons why the Vikings have pulled off 2 straight upsets against the Chargers and the Packers. And I think it happens again on the road in Santa Clara. I just think that, look, who's going to cover Justin Jefferson? Who's going to cover Adam Thielen? Dalvin Cook he's had a couple of huge games here or there, but he hasn't really had that signature game of this season. Maybe that comes against San Fran. I don't know. But they definitely want to lean on him, especially on the road. Kirk Cousins, he's been absolutely phenomenal. CJ, you were talking about how you think he's going to throw a couple of picks in this game. Well, he only has a couple on the year. And so I don't see that happening. And I think just somehow, miraculously, Minnesota walks away with the victory. I know they're a team that can't be trusted just because Kirk Cousins is a starting quarterback, but who's going to cover the receivers? They've just been doing way too much damage, and your guys' secondary has been in shambles. So I'm going to leave Minnesota in a very tight one, 24-23.
Dang. All right. Well, I guess I'm the last one here. Very good points, Steezy. I had my mind picked up, and then I'm kind of swaying over here now. Honestly, I think this game is going to be very, very exciting too. I honestly do put, obviously the Rams a little higher than this, but this is a very, very good game. I'm excited to see exactly how this shakes out. But I'm leaning 49ers, and this is the reason why. I think what they're doing with the ball, with Deebo Samuels is amazing. Is really, really good what they're doing. Obviously, I have in my fantasy football league, so keep it doing, man. Keep rushing that ball. want some more points. But yeah, I think 49ers are going to get this win as well. I do think it's going to be a very close one. I'm going to say 24-21 49ers, and the Niners are on a roll. So I got 49ers, but I got a question to open up to the panel since we're done with our picks, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, the San Francisco 49ers are 2 games down from the Rams. 2. And then you got another game against the 49ers. And you know how CG says, Kyle Shanahan is the daddy of McVay. Do you think
yeah.
do you think we could possibly see 49ers at number 2 and the Rams at number 3? Because your guys' schedule is pretty tough, Rams. Not going to lie to you, man. I'll let you take the floor first.
Honestly, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I think that the 49ers are playing really good football right now. I don't know if they'll sustain it. They are still pretty beat up. We've seen this before with them. It's like, I don't know. They just kind of they really seem to go up and down. They're at an up right now. I feel like they probably end not. You know what I mean? We're only in week 12, so I feel like there's time for them to kind of falter. And I still think that the quarterback situation, I think, is still a topic. Just because Jimmy is winning games and sometimes has a big one, I don't think that that's changed because we still know that the future is Trey Lance. So I don't know. I think that that's still a topic. I don't know. There's something about the 49ers that I don't really trust them. And, I mean, from the Rams' perspective, yeah, it's something that Rams fans have now kind of been like, oh, okay, 49ers, all right. Maybe keep an eye on these guys over here. But I think that sights are not necessarily looking below at third place at the 49ers. It's still looking at Arizona at that first spot. So I'm not really that concerned.
All right. CG, man, what you got, man? I want to hear from you, man. How's your fan base feeling? You guys think you guys can make this playoff run?
Let's say one game at a time, man, because the fact that I like you guys doubting my team. I want that same energy because I don't know. It's kind of been an up and down season, so we are barely at the 500 record. But, realistically, the Rams are a really good team, but we just happen to beat them at a really good time. So it's kind of like, even if we go third place, maybe there's a chance we can get the 7 seed or 6 seed, and I'll be okay with that. But like I said, I'm not really sure what to expect because I saw 2 good games, but can we continue on? That's the question. Can this 49ers team continue on from the next 7 games? Because Minnesota Vikings, they're a really good team. Sure, their defense is a little bit suspect. Their offense is very explosive. Kirk Cousins hasn't really made a lot of mistakes this year. It's a really impressive type of performance he's playing so far. But the thing is, what Minnesota Vikings are we going to get? The one that lost to the backup Cowboys quarterback, Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush. Or are we going to get the one that beat the Packers? Which one are we getting?
Yeah, that's true, man. I like that. One game at a time. Steezy, you have any comment on that? I mean, obviously, this is 7 games is a lot of football left.
Plenty of football. I think San Fran definitely has a fighting chance, but I think that at the end of the day, I mean, the Rams are just a better football team. And so I think with looking at San Fran's record, obviously Minnesota, that's not a gimme. After that, you guys play us in Seattle, Sunday Night Football. I know we've been struggling, but, I mean, that's not a gimme for San Fran either. After that, Cincinnati, that's not a gimme. After that, Atlanta, that's a gimme. Tennessee, after that, that is not a gimme. Houston, that's a gimme. And you guys close out the season in L.A., that's definitely not a gimme. And so they still have a lot of ground to make up, and I think that the Rams are just a better football team. So the Rams will end up with a higher spot, and they'll finish second in the NFC West. And then the Niners, I could see them grabbing the 6th or 7th spot in the playoffs. So CG, I think, is spot on.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Awesome. And let's open up the floor. If you guys have any questions, all right, go ahead, Joe.
Mainly for you, because you're the one representing a team that has a shot at the number 1 seed right now. My question is, because I've not been a fan of first round buys. I don't want a first round buy. I want to keep playing. So do you shoot for that? Do you want to be that number 1 seed? You guarantee that you're at home, or do you maybe prefer? I mean, you don't shoot for the 2 seed because you don't want to lose a game on purpose or anything like that. But are you okay and happy with the 2 seed? Because I mean, sitting right now would be the New Orleans Saints, very beatable team. Team sitting in the next spot up from them right now is the Vikings, very beatable team. Below that, the 49ers. Below that, the Eagles. And then below that, the Panthers. Like, these are all teams that I would say the teams right now fighting for that number one spot, the Packers and the Cardinals, they're better than all of those teams. Like, I know that the Vikings just beat the Packers, but that's division games can get crazy. You know, like, we all know that. Our teams have all been crap at one time or another and beaten another good team in the division. It happens, you know.
Yeah.
So do you want that number one seed so that you guarantee that you're at home, or do you kind of just take a game that could be seen a little bit as a toss-up here, or like a layup, I mean, of one of these teams?
That's a good question, man. Honestly, I think when it comes down to the Arizona Cardinals, our fan base is just excited where we are at this moment. I think I would love to get the number one seed. It would be kind of cool to get that bye week. But also at the other side of the coin, I feel like we're playing a lot better as a team away than we are at home. We're undefeated when we're playing away, and I like that momentum, but I definitely don't want to. I wouldn't want to like throw a wrench into like what we've been doing so far. As long as we play, Cardinal football that I know we can. And that basically is make sure you maintain the lead at all times. The biggest suspect thing that we have in our team right now is our run defense is so bad. And especially I think that's one thing that Green Bay and Carolina did to us is that they were running the ball down our throats. And on top of that, they maintained the lead throughout the entirety of that game. So as long as the Cardinals can maintain the lead, and I get it's easier said than done, but as long as we can do that, the run defense will be like, okay, man, because honestly, it causes the other team to get away from that if you're trying to play catch up the whole time. So I wouldn't mind it. Honestly, I want the first round bye as an Arizona Cardinal fan. It would give me something very, very happy about, but I don't know, man. I'm a little worried about it at the same time, but I'm going to say I'll go with yeah.
I just want to keep playing. Like, that's how I feel about it. I just want to keep playing. Give me a wild card game. Just put me in that week so we can just keep on going. I feel like the bye week kind of just, I don't know, man. There's something about that bye week that makes me nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we just got something right here. We have the Seahawks versus the 49ers got flexed over to 125 Pacific, and I think that might be the one after. What took primetime?
No, it wasn't a flex out. It's just a time change. We had it with the Rams and Jags. We were scheduled for 125, and they moved us to 105.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Oh, so it's not that big a deal. Okay, cool.
The flex was it Broncos Chiefs got moved in? I don't know who got moved out for that one. Maybe that's the game that got moved. I don't know.
Yeah, let's see if we can do a little bit more research on that. While Steezy's doing that, he's working hard right now. Does anybody have any other questions?
I don't think I have a question right now.
Okay, I got a question. For Sheriff Jobag, man. How do you feel about coming off after the bye week, after those two devastating blows? How do you feel your team's going to recover after that bye week?
Yeah, I think the bye week came in the perfect time. That Niners game, I don't know if I would even call that a wake-up call. I think we were just asleep that game. Like, I don't know, man. It's like you throw that deep ball to OBJ and it gets picked off and he stops running his route. I don't know why you throw it into that double coverage anyway. And then 93-yard, 18-play drive all the way down the field, score, and then a pick six on a very uncharacteristic dropped pass by Tyler Higbee and just kind of falls into dude's hand. We're down 14 points in, you know what I mean? Like, we haven't even gotten a chance to try to get our offense rolling kind of thing. So I think that these last two games and the bye week being perfectly timed right after that, I feel good about this Rams team ability to kind of bounce back around. Like, the only thing that makes me nervous is Raheem Morris because our defense has been really soft all year long. I did what I think is a great video on this topic, actually, on the Raheem Morris topic this last week. So if you guys want to check that out, it's on the Rams Showcase YouTube page. But I think that's the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous. But I also think that, like, the way this team is run and with Sean McVay, like, I don't think that he's just sitting back like, all right, Raheem, yeah, just keep doing your thing, man. Like, I feel like he's probably in there like, all right, we got to do something, man. Like, we got to get better. So I think this bye week was perfect timing. I like the Rams' ability to bounce out of this and string together some dubs on this last stretch of the season.
Awesome. I have a question for Steezy. Actually, did you figure out the whole scheduling thing?
Yeah, so you're right. In week 15, I guess we're not playing prime time no more. It's going to be Denver and Kansas City in week 15, Sunday Night Football. And then also week 15, instead of one game on Saturday, it's going to be two with the Browns hosting the Raiders that day, followed by the Patriots visiting the Colts. And all those games got playoff implications.
Nice. Okay, cool. Appreciate the update, man. I still got a question for you in the Seahawks, man. Where do you guys go from here? Obviously, Russell Wilson's a staple point, right? I mean, I think you got two great wide receivers, DK as well as Tyler Lockett, but no first-round picks. Where do you guys see? Do you guys see maybe getting more capital? And how you guys how would you rebuild this team, man? Because it's deep, man. This is bad stuff.
Well, I kind of alluded to it earlier in the show. I just want us to kind of win as many games as we still possibly can. I'm not going to say the playoffs are still realistic. I know mathematically we're still kind of in it, and barring a miracle, that's not going to happen. But I just want us to show some fight, show some resiliency, just because maybe that'll encourage Russ to, hey, last year I know we had a bad year, but in our last 7 games, we won 6 of those, or we went on a 7-game win streak. That kind of gives me confidence for next year. It kind of gives me confidence in this franchise moving forward, with or without Pete. But like I keep saying, I mean, I'm of the mindset that Russ is willing to stay as long as Pete isn't there. He'll give Seattle 1 more year, but if Pete is still there, then Russ is gone. And so if Pete is still there, then yes, we trade Russ. We accumulate as much capital as possible, and then we kind of we got to start rebuilding. I mean, Dwayne Brown, obviously, he's not going to get an extension, not with the way that he's been playing this year. DK, we got to lock him up. But yeah, I'm not going to say trade Jamal and all that, but maybe Bobby needs a pay cut too, just to kind of trim off some fat. I think Bobby Wagner is still one of the best linebackers in the league, but he's clearly, I think, in decline. And we still have a 2nd-round pick to play for. That 2nd-round pick could be as high as 33rd overall, 34th, 35th, 36th. And so while, yes, I want us to win as many games as possible, if that doesn't happen, then we could take solace in the fact that our 2nd-round pick could possibly be pretty much a late first-rounder. So either way, I think it's a win-win. So
first of all, 1st-round picks, not as important as you think. All right.
Right. Especially with the way that we
are they for suckers?
Now, we know
are they for suckers, right?
They are for suckers. So Steezy, you're not a sucker this season, which is good. But also, so do you think that are you confident that in any scenario possible, either Russ or Pete is gone next year?
I am.
Okay.
I think Pete is just gone, and I think we just ultimately choose Russ.
I don't know. I'm so torn in that because I agree that one of them is going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's Russ, and I feel like the capital thing is like the draft capital thing. I think that plays a part of it because I think that team, they're not built like the Rams where they'll just go out and get other players and stuff like that. And I don't know about your guys' scouting departments like that, but Rams have also been able to nail 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th rounders these last 3 years while this has been going on. So unless how sustainable that is, I'm not sure as far as the 1st-round pick thing goes. But I almost feel like the Seahawks are going to try to pull a 1 or 2 ones out of a team for Russell Wilson. Kind of feeling that way.
Oh, I think the minimum is 3 ones. I think Seattle could get his – huh?
How old is he?
32, 33.
Okay, then yeah, three makes sense.
Yeah, 3 ones. I think with the potential to even reach 4 ones. I mean, we're talking about a top 5 quarterback in all of football who's still, I guess, in his prime. I mean, with the way that these quarterbacks and their shelf lives have kind of increased as, time progressed. Russell Wilson, he spends a lot of money on his body. And so I feel like he can command as much as 4 first-round picks.
Well, I guess that would all depend on how willing he is to stay and how willing they would be to have him. Because if it's one of those situations where he's like, I'm not playing here anymore, then you kind of got to just take the best offer, and if that's 2 or 3 ones, and you know what I mean, that's you just got to take what is best. Kind of similar to the OBJ thing that I was talking about, even before he was a Ram, was at some point you just got if he's like, I'm not playing here anymore, you just got to take or actually, no, my example was somebody else. I don't know. But yeah, if the player's done or if the team is like, all right, we're going to keep this guy, we're going to keep the coach, we're going to move on from you, then whatever phone calls come in, those are it. You got to take one of them.
Maybe get rid of both. Sheesh. Get the capital for Russ. Get rid of Pete Carroll.
I think it's definitely time to move from Pete Carroll. That guy I don't think is doing a great job out there. Russ, I think he just may want to
leave.
Spread his wings a little bit. Who finishes their career in one spot anymore, though, too? I think that'll happen with Russ.
Yeah, very true. All right, we got maybe time for maybe about 1 or 2 more questions if you guys have anything. If not, then the roundtable, man.
I don't have anything. I'm good. Unless somebody has got a question for me.
Me either. I don't got much to say, but I'm just more focused on if we beat Minnesota, then this could be a team that's scary. I don't know.
I have 49ers. They definitely be putting it together. And that's what we all wanted and / expected, honestly, is that we would have at least 3 of these teams in the postseason. So to have that happen at the end, like as much trash as I talk, it would make sense that at least 3 of us get in. Like we went in with this is the best team or the best division in football, stuff like that. And I just would, if you would have asked me to put money on it, I don't know if I would have said Seattle would be the one out. But I think we'd have to check the tapes. But I feel pretty good that I was the one that actually said I thought Seattle was going to get last place.
Really? Oh, I know. I called them at 3 at least.
I'll check. I think I did.
I called I said my team would at least finish 3rd place if I was being realistic, but I didn't say. I was even going with the Rams going 1st place, but man, I had Cardinals actually listed as last place, but now I'm eating my words up a little bit.
There you go.
CG, saying that your team will get at least 3rd is not a hot take.
Quite opposite, my friend. But all right, we'll end our roundtable here, guys. Appreciate you guys as always, man. Thanks as always. It's another fun roundtable. We'll be doing this again on my channel next Tuesday at 7:10 p.m. Arizona time. I know it's different for Pacific and Mountain and all that different stuff, but make sure you have your post notification bell on just so you're aware. Smack that like button, and as always, go Cards.